Hi guys, as you can see I'm sitting in my car and I wanted to just share a video with you briefly. I'm sitting outside of a park here in Morris County, New Jersey, where I live, and just wanted to get outside a little bit. The weather is not the greatest. I did work out today, got out, made sure I did that, and so I really wanted to talk about kind of creating a routine for ourselves and the importance of self-care. A lot of the time we focus on yoga and Pilates and even barre as a way to get fitter, which is of course one of the reasons why we do these mind-body modalities, and perhaps a little less with barre is it so much mind. Although there certainly are moments when you're in small pulses that you do need to really focus on your mind and your breath in order to get through something that we're working on, for example, plie pulses. But so much more in terms of yoga and Pilates. It's about really dropping into our bodies, really dropping into our minds, and allowing ourselves to go beyond the limitations that we've put on ourselves. And what caused me to fall in love with the practice 15, 16 years ago was the fact that I could start to, by tapping into my body, by tapping into the sensations of my body as I was in a yoga pose, I could start to get a sense of what was going on. Why was I doing the things I was doing? Why was I treating myself the way I was treating myself at the time? So back then I was, so let's see, I'm 43, so 15 years ago, not the best at math. I was 27, 28. I remember having come out of so I was 28, a 10-year relationship with someone, and I was experiencing extreme anxiety to the point where I couldn't leave my home. I was put on antidepressants as well as anti-anxiety medications, pretty strong anti-anxiety medications, Klonopin specifically. And I was about 100 pounds heavier. I was eating to deal with my emotions. I didn't have an outlet. The lucky thing for me was that I was always pretty active despite eating too much. I love to be outdoors. I love to hike. I had a couple of dogs at the time, Deanna, my German Shepherd, and Oscar, our little Shih Tzu. And when I was still with my then boyfriend, we had a Doberman pit mix named Ebony, and we would take the dogs out, and I was always active. Now, the relationship ended and it needed to end, but I didn't know who I was. So, if you do the math, I was 18, was with somebody for 10 years. So it was 28. I was 28. So it was 10 years of my life that I was with a person, and we didn't work out. We were two very different personality types who wanted different things out of life. And at the time, I was young and I was in the throes of dealing with the loss and having to move out and leaving some of my pets behind, which to this day still bothers me. So I needed something to help me, and yoga was what I found. I found a DVD at the time, and it was for all body types and for all levels. And I remember that I could barely touch the ground, if even, imagine 100 pounds heavier, you have a bigger belly, you have bigger breasts, bigger arms, your own body gets in your way. So I remember being in standing forward fold and feeling all of that in front of me and going, why have I let myself get this way? Why have I not taken care of myself? What's going on in here and in here, right, in my mind and in my heart, that's telling me that it's okay to hurt myself by overeating? Certainly it was a way to compensate, right? A way to fill a void, a way to deal with emotions, or perhaps dampen down emotions. And yoga made me start to deal with those emotions, identify the emotions, first of all, deal with the emotions, and then have a physical outlet for those emotions, right? And also a goal to work toward, which would be, can I get deeper into a forward fold? Can I explore what it would feel like to bend my knee a little more deeply in Warrior 1 or Warrior 2, for example? Can I hold a tree pose a little longer? What do I need to do physically in terms of body mechanics, also physically and emotionally in terms of dealing with the emotions that I have, not trying to subsume them with food, in order to really become like the instructor? And so I spent a lot of time in the practice. I wasn't working at the time because I had anxiety, so I couldn't go to work. And so I had the time and I had the energy to do that, right? I had the drive, I should say, to improve my life, to improve the way I was treating myself. And now, with COVID-19 and not being in official work for a couple of months outside of teaching as a professor, which now that's done for the semester, I've had the time to tap back into my practice and to be able to move a little better than I had been moving. That's not to say that I haven't been working out. I've really been focusing on Pilates and strengthening because I had some hip instabilities going on as a result of the car accidents that I was in 7 years ago, and a result of just being a yoga instructor, right? There's a lot of excess mobility in the hips and pelvis. And so I've been focusing on growing muscle in my legs, growing muscle in my buttocks, strengthening the lower body and strengthening the upper body, which compromised a little bit my flexibility and even my dedication to the practice because I was feeling these changes in my flexibility. So I just started getting on the mat because I'm teaching you guys, because I'm teaching on YouTube, because I'm teaching through Zoom, and because I really want to reconnect to the practice in a way where I feel like it's helping me. So how does that apply to the rest of us, to you guys, to me in general, to everyone? Specifically when it comes to this practice is simply practice. There are going to be days that you're going to feel great in a practice. There are going to be days that you're going to feel like you're exhausted in a practice. The important thing is to keep practicing. That might mean when you're tired, you take more child's poses. That might mean when you're tired, you don't lift your arms all the way up. That might mean you bend your elbows, for example, and create like a 90-degree angle here. I just want to shift a little bit so you can see it, right? A 90-degree angle so that you can maybe hold your warrior one there instead of extending the arms all the way up. Maybe it means your hands are in prayer in chair pose as opposed to extended out. Maybe that means that you don't sit as deep. Maybe that means that you leave out the inversions except for perhaps down dog, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But it's important to adjust to the practice to how you're feeling on a given day. And it's not just physically, right? It's what's going on in your heart, what's going on in this center, and what's going on up here. What thoughts are we having, right? Am I very much in ego today? Am I really in type A mode? Can I back off a little bit and be okay with it? Or maybe you don't practice vinyasa. Maybe you practice a nice hatha yoga class where there's no flow and you don't have to worry about all the chaturangas and all the flip dogs. Maybe you don't flip your dog. I mean, lately I don't flip my dog. Lately I've been focusing on upward bow pose from bridge, right? Doing upward bow push-ups, things like that. Maybe you take a yin class, and that's what I did 2 days ago. It was amazing. I took a class on Yoga Glow with Jason Crandall, who's one of my favorite instructors, and it was a very much a classical vinyasa flow in that each movement went with a breath. So it was that true, you don't even sit in a pose, you were just flowing. And I remember dripping sweat and thinking, this is what I need. I was outside, it was the birds, the squirrels, the chipmunks, the sun. And then I did a yin class. And it wasn't my favorite yin class, but it was a yin class nonetheless. And I sat and I felt and I experienced. And it felt good, even though it wasn't the type of yin that I would personally teach or personally take, but I wanted to try an instructor I hadn't worked with before, but hadn't taken on Yoga Glow before. But the fact is that it's adaptable, specifically yoga, even Pilates, right? Pilates is very core centric. We really focus on the powerhouse, that cylindrical powerhouse, front of the belly, back abdominal muscle, back core muscles, side core muscles. In Pilates, you shorten your levers. So meaning instead of extending your legs out, bend your knees, or the same thing, bend your elbows. Try to maybe not go into full teaser. Back off a little bit. Maybe you hold a plank instead of doing push-ups. Things like that. So keep practicing, but adjust and adapt the practice as you need to, where the practice is you need to still nurture your body, to still nurture your mind, and to still explore what's going on. So especially as I start to get older, remember I started this in my 20s, I'm now 43. The body changes, your mind changes, what your goals are in life change. And so as you change, your practice should change. Does that mean necessarily that you're always going to have a less intense physically practice? No. You could still be just as strong, but it's the acknowledgement that, okay, maybe today I'm feeling a little tired. I had to stay up late working, or I had to stay up late with kids if you have kids, or, I have pets. Sometimes my pets are sick and I have to stay up taking care of them or giving them fluids or something like that. And I'm just not feeling it. And I'm just not feeling like even getting on my mat, but I make sure that I get on my mat. Maybe I ate too much, maybe I had a drink, and I'm not feeling great, but I still do the practice. I still get up and work out. I still get up and nurture my body. I still get up and go out to the park, even though the day is not great. And today I didn't feel like walking around. I just showered, just worked out for over an hour, and I really, just wanted to be surrounded by greenery and kind of be by myself for a little bit. No pets, no David, no mom, no anything like that, and just kind of be. And there's nothing wrong with that. Did a little bit of listening to continuing ed that I'm doing, and decided to do this video to create some connection and to keep you guys focused on now when there's uncertainty, now when we don't have our routine, now when we're kind of getting maybe to the end of our quarantine here in Jersey, that perhaps we hold on to some of what we've learned, what we appreciate now from having been in a lockdown. I know that a lot of things are going to change in my life just by default. Tired of running around, tired of going back and forth, tired of uncertainty, and wanting to do more teaching from home, wanting to do more of this stuff, but yet at the same time understanding I have bills to pay, right? So trying to find a balance. So remembering that in life we do have choices. Sometimes they're forced upon us. Sometimes we have to go, oh, okay, so something major happened and I have no choice, I have no say, I have no control, and kind of letting go of that control and seeing what we explore, seeing what we can use as modalities to explore to keep us connected. And with that, I've been grateful, and I'm very grateful to all of you who've practiced with me, who continue to practice with me, who practice with me in person, who are doing it online. I hope that you'll stay on when we go back. And I hope that you'll take some of my classes and here online. And those of you who've never met me before but have tried a class because you found it on YouTube or on Facebook or Instagram or a friend recommended, stay with me. I still plan on doing this. I'm going to find ways that even maybe I can record some of my classes where I am elsewhere and put them onto YouTube. And I'll still be doing my Zooms. But I would love to hear, especially from those of you who have my contact info and who've been practicing with me for a while, what else do you want to do? What else do you want to see? And I will do my best to accommodate, with the understanding that sometimes my body can't do some of these things, right? And maybe if you want some lessons, maybe if you want to see some of the stuff that I do on my own, I can do that for you as well. But really, I just wanted to have this video as a way to connect, to kind of bring to you guys, this is who I am, here's the inside of my car, this is what I do sometimes to just spend some time alone. I hope that I gave you something that connects to you today, and I intend on posting a class later today. It's going to be one of my Zoom classes, I believe. I have to check how the recording looks. If not today, then I'll post something tomorrow so that you guys have it. Probably a yoga flow that I'll be teaching at 7:30 in the morning. I'll set up my iPhone and record with it just in case Zoom doesn't work with me. All right, guys, have a wonderful, wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you on the mat soon.